Hi everyone, and Shabbat Shalom. We are before Shabbat that is named after the two parashiot that we are going to read this Shabbat, behar and bechokotay, the portion of behar and the portion of bechokotay. And the portion of bechokotay is completing the book of Leviticus. So therefore we are completing this coming Shabbat tomorrow, the third book from the 5 books of Moses. And as we explained before, when we complete one of the books, when we come to completion, the blessing, the energy, the light of the entire book is being revealed in this day. So therefore this coming Shabbat is revealing the light of the entire book of Leviticus. As well, there are interesting points within these two portions when we are looking on the overall energy that they have. The first parasha, Parashat Behar, the portion of Behar, has 57 verses. And the number 57 is a very interesting number in Kabbalah, as in Psalm 23, Mizmor LeDavid, Hashem Roi Lo Yachsar, God is my shepherd. This Psalm of David associated with energy of blessing for sustenance. And the number 57 in Hebrew equal to the word zan, which is feeding, giving prosperity, like the light is giving prosperity to us. So therefore, Parashat Behar is associated with energy of blessing for the needs of a person, the sustenance of a person. And Parashat Behar is dealing, as it says that on Mount Sinai, already they got the spiritual laws for how they should behave in Israel. And the parasha, the portion, is speaking about the fact that a slave need to be released. A Hebrew slave need to be released in the 7th year. He should have rest and freedom from slavery. 6 years he should work. On the 7th one, he should be released. He should be free. He should have rest. And it speaks also about the concept of 7 times 7, which is after 7 times 7 we have the 50th, which is the Jubilee. And again, energy of freedom, energy of redemption, energy of inner rest, inner peace of mind. So therefore this parasha is speaking about freedom, and we know that when a person doesn't have, usually, when a person doesn't have good sustenance, then it's very hard to have freedom in this world unless you are strong enough to say, I'm not depending on the external material things, and I have freedom even without most of what maybe many people in the Western world consider a must. But the idea is sustenance. Now, but it's dealing with the 7th year and the 50th, the Jubilee, 7 times 7. The idea is that from the 7th day of the week, which is Saturday, Shabbat, all the days of the week are being blessed. And if we succeed to tap properly into the channel of the light of Shabbat, if we are truly experiencing freedom, inner freedom on Shabbat, from all processes that are taking place during the week, and we are not slaves to them even in our thought, if we truly feel free in Shabbat, then it's easier for us to be in the proper frequency, in the proper likability to draw and to bring that blessing that we want to bring to all the days of the week. So it means the more that we are connected with Shabbat, and the more that we are in peace of mind, the more that we are resting in Shabbat, meaning resting internally. Doesn't mean that we cannot prepare the meal and have guests and maybe work a little bit hard with hosting some people to a Friday night dinner. But still internally we need to come to the point in which we have peace of mind. If we do so, then we will draw a bigger blessing to all the days of the week. Which means we need to detach ourselves from all what is customary for us to do during the week, we need to detach ourselves from what we are accustomed to think during the week, not to fall into that. We need to see ourselves that everything is complete in Shabbat, and all our needs are going, and we need to be in the belief system, total belief system, that all our needs are going to be provided during this coming week. So therefore, we don't have to be worried about this, how things will be this coming week. It's all going to be taken care of if we are taking care to be in the proper frequency on Shabbat. And obviously that it's a great deal of belief system to believe that from Shabbat all the blessing is coming to the week. But this is the concept, because according to the emanation, Shabbat is the completion of the past week, is the seventh day, which is the emanation of Malchut, kingdom, the emanation that manifests all the energy of the week, all that we've done during the week. And also it's the first day before the new week, which means it's one level above 7 days that are going to start from Sunday, which is the Binah consciousness, understanding the emanation above, from which all the blessings are coming to the 7 days of the week. So Shabbat is like in between completing the past week and revealing all the energy of past week, and enhancing the week to come and blessing the week to come. This is why in this parasha, Parashat Behar, it's associated with the idea of freedom. It's not just external freedom of the slave, it's also internal freedom, because many times we are slaves in our consciousness, in our behavior. Even though that we are free people, we are still behaving as slaves in our life. The other thing is that I would like to say about this, that the Zohar, the Book of Splendor on this parasha, is taking a certain part to explain the prayer that is associated that is composed from 7 verses. The prayer that is a very powerful prayer that was written, the prayer was written approximately 2,000 years ago. The name of the prayer is Ana Berkoach. 7 verses that starts with the words Ana Berkoach, please with your force, the force of the Almighty. This is a prayer that's being recited every morning in the morning prayers that we have. And the Ana Berkoach is known to be a special Kabbalistic meditation. The prayer is structured to manifest 42 letters of God with which the world was created, that it's associated with the creation process. And they are in a coded way correlating to the 42 first letters of the Torah. Since if I'm starting to count from Bereshit, from the Bet of Bereshit, the first letter, 42 letters, including the Bet, these 42 letters are in a code channeling light to the 42 letters within the name that is known as the Ana Berkoach, the meditation of the Ana Berkoach. So it's a very powerful process, and again it has 7 verses, that each verse is correlating to one day of the week, and the 7th one is the one that is correlating to Shabbat, that manifests the light of all the 6 before it, before that 7th verse. And with that prayer of the Ana Berkoach, as that within the 7th year or the Jubilee, we go out from bondage into freedom, the same with the meditation and the prayer of Ana Berkoach, we can connect and we can tap to light that can assist us on our regular life to elevate ourselves above the mud of this life, to go a little bit to experience freedom spiritually, and to tap to that type of light, to bring that type of blessing into our life. And this is what we do with the meditation of Ana Berkoach every Shabbat morning over here in the synagogue. Now, another nice story that exists, that the Zohar is giving in this parasha, Parashat Behar, is associated about, because it speaks about the certainty of sustenance, that who is giving sustenance to a person, a human being or God. So it speaks here about the story of a miracle that 2 people that were walking in the desert experienced. This is speaking about the charity that one was doing with another person. It says 2 students of 2 sages were walking in the way, Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yossi, and they saw 2 people that are walking. They were looking at 2 people that they are walking, and while they are watching them, they saw a 3rd person is coming and asking for food. That he says that he was in the way for a long time and he doesn't have food and he's almost like dying without food. So the two people, from the two people that were there, one of them was giving his food to the person that was seeking that food. He was giving his food, his own food. His friend was telling him, we need to continue to walk. We are stuck here in the middle of nowhere. That now if you give him your food, then you won't get to the place where you wanted to get. You will die in the way. You will miss the food. You will miss the water that you gave him. So the guy is looking at his friend and saying, you know what, I'm not expecting to receive from you food because I know that your food is exactly sufficient to get to where we need to go. So you need to understand, I'm not walking, I'm not counting, I'm not trusting on your food. My life is not, I'm not trusting my life upon the food that you are working with, because the one that supplies the food is a higher force, bigger force, something from above. So this was the conversation between them, which means two people are walking, they have foods that's sufficient exactly to cross the place where they are walking through. They meet another person that has no food, and to save him, one of the two is giving his food. Now he is without food. He gave everything that he had. Now, the two sages that look at this from far away and they get the idea what's going on, one is saying to the other, we have enough food, let's give him the food. So his friend, the other sage, is saying, no, wait. If it happened that God was sending a poor person in the middle of nowhere to that person to give his food, it means that he needed a certain miracle to take place for him, and God was giving him the opportunity to give that food as charity. And by that he did so, he will be entitled to receive a miracle in his life. So they were continuing walking after these two people. Obviously, the one that was walking without food and water got tired eventually and could not continue. And he was resting in the way. While he was sleeping, a snake came close to him. That person that gave his food and now was weak. The friend that had the food was further away. The guy is sleeping, and a snake is coming to bite him. And that moment, another snake appeared into the scenery, and instead that one snake will bite or will give the poison to that person that is asleep, the snakes between them were fighting, and one snake killed the other snake and went away. After that miracle took place, the two sages came closer. They saw it from far away, all the scenery. They came closer to the person that didn't have the food. They gave him the food. They told him all the story. What's the idea of that story? I hope that you got the message. The idea is that two people are walking in the desert. They meet a third person that has no food. One of them is giving the food. He knows that he won't have sufficient food to walk, and he's saying, I'm trusting God for what will be. Now, this moment, he needs the food. If not, he would die immediately. I'm giving him the food. What will happen next? I'm trusting God. I'm not trusting my friend and his food. I'm trusting God. And he trusted God 100%. And therefore, he was entitled for the miracle. He needed that charity because there was upon him a judgment of death. And it says that charity is saving from death. That type of charity, the way that he did it, truly saved him from death. So the idea when it speaks about sustenance, it's another message of this parasha about sustenance, that truly the source is for sustenance is the light of God, and no human being is truly the source for sustenance. We are merely messengers, one to another, to provide the sustenance that God is sharing with each one of us. This is why there is another concept that in Kabbalah that is very essential. Because many times some people can go bitter with the idea, I'm not fortunate. I was not born into the right parents. I was not born in the right neighborhood. My life are misfortune. I'm poor. I'm broke. Nothing is going good for me. And in the other hand, there are some people that whatever they do, even they are not behaving good, and they are blessed with a lot of sustenance, and they are blessed with all the happiness of life. So we need to understand that nothing happens by coincidence, and there is a direct calculation. There is an accurate calculation with what's happening in this world, whether we understand it or not. And Kabbalah in Hebrew means to receive, but to receive, it's not just receiving. Kabbalah also means in Hebrew to accept. Many times in our life we don't accept situations that we are going through. If this is with sustenance, if this is relationship, if this is health, or what, you name it. We don't accept. And then if we don't accept that there is accurate process over here, that God is not doing anything bad to no one, that everything is for the better of each one of us, and some of us need to go through a more intensive process of purification, and some of us maybe did it in other lifetimes and this time need to go through an easier process. Or maybe one would have the tests of their life in such way, while others have it in a different way, and we don't understand what truly other people goes through when we think, oh, everything is easy for them. We don't see the entire picture because we are limited with our five senses. We don't know truly what other people go through. So the idea is Kabbalah is not just to receive. It's not just teaching us how to receive and to reveal the light of God. Kabbalah is also telling us that the way to flow with this universe, with all the misunderstanding that we see and we experience in life, is to accept that if things happened, it's accurate. If things happened, it's for the better of the process of correction. Even though that sometimes it seems to us very weird and awkward and we don't understand it, and most of the time we don't understand it, still, if we come from the point of belief, total belief, that everything is good even though that we don't understand it, and the good will come, maybe will be revealed to us in the future, maybe even not in this lifetime, but in the future eventually we'll understand why things happened the way that they happened, then that acceptance bring us to the point of inner peace. If we succeed to get there. This is why Shabbat, with the acceptance that all the blessings is from the light, Shabbat with the total belief system that no one can take from us what belongs to us, and we cannot take from others what belongs to them, and if we would take, it will go away from us. And the real blessing is to do the right actions to connect with the blessing. And this is what Parashat Bechokotay, the following parasha, is about. Bechokotay means follow the rules, the spiritual laws of the Torah. It says in Parashat Bechokotay, if you follow the rules, these blessings will take place. You don't follow the rules, these curses will come. How many verses there are in this parasha, Bechokotay, the one that is completing the book of Leviticus? 78 verses, 78. Equal to the numerical value of 3 times the name of God, the Tetragrammaton, that in Hebrew is the letters Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey, which is 26, 3 times 78. But the sages are choosing a very interesting code name to name this parasha according to the amount of verses. Name that numerically would equal to the number 78. And the name that they are choosing is Aza. The letters in Hebrew are Ain, Zain, Aleph. What this parasha is talking about? If you'll follow my rules, this will be the result, blessing. And if you won't follow, all the troubles will run after you. What is Aza? The strip of Gaza. Aza means Gaza. Aza also is the name, Ain, Zain, Aleph. It's the name of the angel that one of the angels that one of the two that fell down from heaven, and they were misbehaving in this world to the extent that it caused eventually the flood before the time at the time of Noah. This is from them all the giants and all of that were in this world, all the chaos that was there, starting there, and their energy, as I explained once, is that negative energy is loaded in the area of the Gaza Strip. Aza is Gaza. If we go according to the spiritual laws, and the one major law, don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you, or love thy neighbor as thyself, if we follow the rules of helping one another and believing that everything is from the light, and not envying one another and wishing good one to another, instead every time of having bad wishes one to another many times, we need to transform it. Then if we are on the right frequency, then blessing will come. But if not, so there is the Gaza Strip to give us some hell in Israel. And believe me, when it's not quite over there, it's hell. Especially to all the people that are in that region of the missiles. And it's like hell to the entire country, because it's affecting everyone. You know how much this country could be blessed without all the expense on the army? What could be done over here in Israel without all the need to protect ourselves from enemies? What would happen in all the countries around us if everyone will respect one another? Then it would be truly spring, the Arabic Spring. No, it's not the Arabic Spring. It's the Arabic storm. This is an hurricane, a typhoon, whatever. I don't know how to name it. It's not a spring. If we would live in peace among us, then it would be a spring. So depends on our thought, words, and actions. God willing that we will be able to take this message to our day-to-day life and to learn to accept, לקבל, Kabbalah, to accept the reality and to accept it with love. And then to try to channel that energy of love among us. It's a big challenge in our time because life are putting a big load of pressure upon most of the people in this world today. Each one goes through this in a different way because it's testing us to elevate us to a higher consciousness. This is a test through which we need to go out from consciousness of slavery to a consciousness of being free from the bondage of this energy of the material world. Doesn't mean that we cannot enjoy the material world, but not to be in bondage and slave to it. So God willing that we'll be able to be free in our life, truly free, with belief system that everything is exactly the way that it should be. And if we will behave according to the laws of the light, things will manifest in the good way. And if someone goes through some hard times, we need to remember that the light can help each one of us in a split of a second, in a speed of lightning. Boom! And things can change for the better. For those of us that go through hard time, we should have that belief system and not to let go. Shabbat Shalom to everyone.